Hello, this is Victor from Black Pisces Production, and you're watching the How to Mix Power Metal video series. In the previous video, I showed you how I mix the snare drum. In this part of the video series, we are going to take a look at the toms. This is how the tom sounded before mixing. And this is how the toms sound after mixing. After hearing the unmixed and the mixed toms, you can feel like these toms have too much high-frequency content after mixing. I would like to remind you that it doesn't matter how they sound in solo. You can try to mix some tracks in solo, but after that you should always listen to them in context and make adjustments if needed. So here are the toms in context before mixing. And after mixing. Now you can hear that the toms sound great in the mix. I use separate channels for every tom and name them tom 1, tom 2, tom 3 and tom 4. These channels are sent into the toms group track. I like when the tom channels have different positions in the stereo field. As you can see, I pan the tom 1 channel 50% to the left, the tom 2 channel 20% to the left, the tom 3 channel 40% to the right, and the tom 4 channel 70% to the right. I started with processing the individual tracks first, and then the group track. My tom mixing workflow is really simple when the toms are from the same company and from the same series. I mix the lowest tom first, copy the plugins to the other tom channels, and fine-tune them. I use the virtual mix rack with the VCC channel FGS, FG401 and the New York modules. The VCC channel is set to group 8, that means that we are using the same settings as in the previous parts of this video series. Britain mode, drive at 9 dBs and input at -6.3 dBs. After the VCC channel, the FGS equalizer is used to add more highs, high mids and lows, and to cut out unwanted low mids. I boosted 12 dBs above 7.5 kHz, boosted 8 dBs around 1 kHz, cut 6 dBs around 450 Hz, and boosted 4 dBs at 68.5 Hz with the bell mode turned on. After the equalizer, I used the FG401 compressor with the slowest attack, fastest release and 2:1 ratio. The compressor brings out the attack of the tom with 3 to 5 dBs of gain reduction. The last module is the New York module that is used to saturate the signal. So on the tom 3 track I used the same plugin with almost identical settings. The only module I changed was the FGS equalizer. First of all, I found the lowest frequency of the tom and I set the lowest band of the equalizer accordingly. This frequency was around 86 Hz. After that I felt like I needed more high frequency, so I boosted the highest band even more. I set its gain to 14.7 dBs. On the tom 2 track, the situation was similar. I changed only the FGS module. I found the lowest frequency of this tom 2, it was around 108 Hz, and then I set the frequency of the lowest band accordingly. After listening to it, I felt like this tom had too much high frequency content, so I turned down the gain of the highest band to 11.6 dBs. After copying the plugin to the tom 1 channel, it needed a little tweaking again. I found the lowest frequency of this tom 2, this time it was around 132 Hz, so I set the frequency of the lowest band to this value. I felt like the highs were fine with this tom, but I turned down the gain of the high mids to 3.15 dBs. As I already mentioned, I sent the individual tom tracks into the toms group channel. The only insert on this group channel is my aggressor plugin that I use to clip the signal. This helps to control the transients of the toms. You can use any clipper, distortion or saturation plugin to achieve a similar effect. The first FX send I used on the toms group channel sends the signal into my room FX track. This gives the toms more space. The second FX send sends the toms group track into my Reverb FX track. This adds even more space to the toms and makes them a bit longer. And now a before and after comparison of these two FX sends. Today I showed you how I approach mixing the toms. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, please click the like button, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. In the next part of the video series we are going to talk about the drum room. Thanks for being here, see you next time.